For today's story, we are covering a trans cheerleader who was kicked out of camp after allegedly choking a female teammate. So, yeah, there's some violence going on as it relates to issues of transgender rights in sports, which isn't perhaps surprising. Probably not the last time we'll see something like this boil up, where you have friction within teams based on who can and who cannot compete, and some things relating to that. So let's read a little bit about this story. A transgender cheerleader who was born a biological male was kicked out of a Texas cheerleading camp and given a criminal citation after allegedly choking a female teammate. Quote, "Well, guys, I'm officially retired as a cheerleader as of last night. A girl on my team was being very disrespectful and told me that I'm a man with a penis, and guys like me should not be on the team." So, this is an opinion that a lot of people have. It's like, these girls maybe don't feel so safe with having men around them all the time and in these environments. "I stood up for myself, and she called her mom and dad because she was scared I stood up for myself. Her father said she still has testosterone and a penis, and I will come after anyone who comes after my daughter." Wow, that's a lot. The incident took place at Ranger College, where police responded to a dispute between members of the team, according to Facebook posts from the team. Medlock alleges that a teammate made transphobic and racist remarks before the altercation, with the cell phone showing other cheerleaders hiding in a room from an agitated Medlock. So some of the cheerleaders apparently were hiding from the transgender cheerleader because they were scared. The father of the girl who Medlock allegedly choked has also been called to the scene by his daughter and began pushing for the police to release body cameras and CCTV footage of the incident. I'm sure that will be interesting for sure. "I ask you what you would have done when receiving a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning from your daughter stating they'd locked themselves in the room with other girls," the father wrote. "At no time did I ever say anything about your race or gender." I'm sure he has some thoughts, though. Medlock asserts the physical confrontation with the other cheerleader was actually a joke, but police have given a citation for criminal assault and removed Medlock from campus. So yeah, it's not surprising that these things are boiling over as women finally are standing up for themselves and saying, we don't want to compete with people of the opposite biological sex because it's unfair, threatens our safety, threatens our spaces, and so forth and so on. We want to be women. And so, yeah. So not a surprise, and we'll probably see more of this, to be honest. Thus, that brings us to the end of this article about a trans cheerleader kicked out of camp after allegedly choking a female teammate. This story, of course, is not that interesting in isolation, but I think is interesting because I think it represents one of a series of stories in a continuum about people starting to stand up for themselves over this stuff, and more power to them. Because, there are biological realities between men and women, and those biological realities are real, and women have a right to feel safe in their space, and they don't have a right to be erased from existence. So I think that this is probably likely to increase in the future until people really stand up for themselves, and maybe this will come to a stop if people do, but we'll have to wait and see. But at least for a moment, that brings us to the end of discussion of this story. Thank you so much for being part of the Uncivil Law family. If you enjoyed this legal education content, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. We appreciate your continuing support. Until later, my friends, cheers and goodbye.